Good evening. I call this meeting to order. I'm going to read a script, so bear with me. Good evening. I'm Isidoro Nieto, President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. Please let the minutes reflect the notice of this board meeting has been posted online for the last 72 hours as permitted by the suspended portion of the Texas Open Meeting Act as permitted by Governor Abbott. Although a quorum of trustees are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum of trustees in attendance at this meeting by video conference or telephone call. The board is meeting by the use of the platform of Google Hangout Meet, and telephone transmission will allow two-way communication for members of the public during the public comments portion of the agenda. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available to the public in accordance with the law. As we would in any person meeting, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice for registering to speak during the public comment portion of the agenda will be called at the telephone number they have provided. All other board meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent practicable. Today is June the 8th, 2020, and it is now 6:01. I will now call out the name of each trustee to determine if that person is present by telephone or video conference. Is Mr. Kennedy online? Dr. Jaime Rodriguez?
Present via video conference.
Mr. Andrew Gonzalez?
Present.
Dr. Richard Rivera?
Present.
Mr. Erasmo Lopez?
I'm present.
Mr. Armando Cuellar?
I'm present.
And of course, myself, Mr. Nieto, present. Opening prayer, Dr. Canales.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. The opening prayer will be led by Mr. Elias Trevino. Mr. Trevino.
Thank you. Would you all be so kind to bow your heads and let's pray. Heavenly Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, we come before your mighty throne of glory to honor, praise, and glorify you. Thank you for the opportunity to gather in this setting, even in the midst of a pandemic. Thank you for your faithfulness, providence, and protection over the lives of our students, staff, and families. Father, we ask you to continue to bless and grant greater wisdom to our superintendent, Dr. Priscilla Canales, for her desire to be a champion for all our students, regardless of their labels. Thank you for our board members, President Isidoro Nieto, Vice President Dr. Richard Rivera, Secretary Andrew Gonzalez, our trustees, Armando Cuellar Jr., Patrick Kennedy, Erasmo Lopez, and Dr. Jaime Rodriguez. Bless them and their families beyond measure for their service and sacrifice for our community. Their efforts and accomplishments for the betterment of our students, I am certain, is in your memory, Lord. Father, may your will be done in our board meetings. Bless our administrators with wisdom, integrity, a sense of humor, patience, and the physical and mental energy in the midst of these trying times. Bless us all with strong support from parents, teachers, and the community. Above all, bless all our students with divine protection, physical and mental health, and providence. May nothing ever lack in their homes. May their homes be filled with love and support. We pray that you grant us, Lord, the opportunity to see our students soon, and that they all, amen, and all of our staff can return safely. We ask you all this in your precious and mighty name of Jesus. And everyone says, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Pledge of Allegiance and Texas Pledge, Dr. Canales.
Dr. Sergio Garcia will lead us in the pledges. Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. Canales. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Item number 5, awards and recognitions. Dr. Canales?
We have several recognitions this evening that just highlights our great complete educational program from athletics to fine arts and FFA, CTE. So Mr. Carlos Robledo. And I do have some slides. Let me pull those up. Sorry, I'm slow. I have my glasses on. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see you, Dr. Canales.
Okay, thank you very much. I am going to put it in present mode. And we will start off with the Weslaco High School swim team.
Okay, with the Weslaco High School swim team, our Weslaco High School swim team program had a very successful season with several swimmers winning district titles in several events. The boys 200-yard medley relay team brought home the District 32 6A championship title. They are Nathan Parker, Noah Valadez, Derek Cantu, and Henry Sander. Henry Sander also won the district championship in the 100-yard breaststroke. Head coach is Alexandra Trevino. Congratulations to our student athletes. Next one, Dr. Canales, you want to advance so I can see which one we're going to next? I know we're recognizing FFA students and students. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about our FFA and Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show. So tonight we want to congratulate our high school students who competed and excelled in the South Texas Agricultural Roundup, also known as STAR, and the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show. Our students from the Future Farmers of America clubs put in countless hours to develop and show their exhibits. These events promote leadership development, agricultural education, and competition. Our students also had the opportunity to raise money for next year's projects or college scholarships. The livestock show was condensed this year due to COVID-19, but our students were extremely successful nonetheless. So we have some results that are on your screen right there. I'm also going to read the script right here. So from Weslaco East, we'll start off with STAR results. In second place in the South Down Market Lamb, we had Cameron Cromer. First place Market Lamb, Brendan Cromer. In the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show, also from Weslaco East, results are second place AOB Heifer, Ariel Science. Second place Red Brangus, Angela Torres. Second place South Down Market Lamb, Cameron Cromer. Second place All Valley Cotton Style Show, Ashley Elizondo. Second place, Red Brangus, Justin Mercado. First place and breed champion, Fine Wool Cross Market Lamb Dorper, Christian Cromer. First place, All Valley Cotton Style Show, Annalisa Cavazos. And first place and junior reserve champion in the Red Brangus division, Audrey Riojas. The sponsor from Weslaco East is Rolando Gonzalez. From Weslaco High School FFA and STAR results, they are Cover Girl second runner-up. She is Kylie Selman. Congratulations to Kylie, second runner-up for the Cover Girl. Second place Market Lamb Droper, Adriana De Anda. First place Medium Wool Market Lamb, Javier Lopez. First place Hampshire Market Hog, Jasmine Garza. We still have more. Reserve Breed Champion, Commercial ABC Heifer, Noah Cuellar. Breed Champion, South Down Market Goat, Joseph Leal. Reserve Grand Champion, California Market Rabbits, Nathan Parker. And overall Grand Champion in the Market Rabbits, Casey Parker. Livestock show results are as follows for Weslaco High School. Second place, Maine Anjou Medium Weight Steer, Sebastian Cantu. Second place, Fine Wool Cross Heavyweight Market Lamb, Esteban Rocha. Second place, Junior Commercial Heifer, Nathaniel Butcher. First place, Market Goat Class 1, Frank Tostado. First place, Market Goat Class 3, Rihanna Gonzalez. First place, York Gilt, Miguel Pineda. A Junior Champion Commercial Heifer, Gabriel Cavazos. And Reserve Champion AOB Heifer, Dylan Cavazos. The next group of students competed and placed in both events. In the Star second place, Lightweight Market Goat Livestock Show second place, Market Goat first class, or class 1, I should say, Luis Valerio. Star second place, Heavyweight Market Goat Livestock Show. It was a first place South Down Heavyweight Market Lamb, Jenna Martinez. Second place, Medium Wool Market Lamb at the Star, and Reserve Grand Champion, Medium Wool Heavyweight Market Lamb overall Reserve Grand Champion at the Livestock Show, Miranda Garza. At the Star, Reserve Breed Champion, Light Cross Breeding Gilt, and at the Livestock Show, second place, Haired Lightweight Market Lamb, and overall Grand Champion, Market Poultry, Cora Ford. At the Star, Reserve Breed Champion, Santa Gertruda Steer, and at the Livestock Show, Breed Champion AOC Market Hog, and overall Grand Champion Market Hog, Lily Ford. At the Star, Breed Champion Middleweight Market Goat, and first place Medium Wool Heavyweight Lamb at the Livestock Show, Justin Calderon. A few more to go here. Star Reserve Breed Champion Medium Wool Cross Lamb. And at the Livestock Show, Champion Medium Wool Light Heavyweight and overall Grand Champion Roel Garza. Overall Grand Champion Market Lamb at the Star, and first place Breeding Hampshire Lamb at the Livestock Show, Cheyenne Garza. And Reserve Grand Champion at the Star, Dark Cross Market Hog. Champion Heavyweight Steer, first place Class 19 Market Goat, and Reserve Champion Breeding Gilt Dark OPB at the Livestock Show, Cooper Ford. We also have some late breaking news that's just coming in right now to K-West. This last Tuesday, a Zoom presentation took place for the Area X Speaking Development events, and we're happy to inform you that Lily Ford won first place in soil stewardship qualifying for state. Lily will not only represent our Weslaco FFA, she also represents the Citrus Valley District and the entire Area X or Area 10 FFA program as well. Sponsors are Juan Cadena and Alonso Garza. Congratulations to them. We also have some students, Dr. Canales, I'm not sure we have this as part of your PowerPoint presentation, as part of the VACE Award, and there they are. So tonight we want to congratulate a group of high school students who competed in the Visual Arts Scholastic event and received regional gold medals in the 2D categories. From Weslaco High School, students who received superior ratings are Kayla Sky Diaz, Jasmine Jackson, Samuel Juarez, Janet Martinez, Giovanni Haley, Angelita Peacock, Destiny Quintanilla, Hannah Rial, Haley Rio, Manuel Salazar, Chloe Perez, Audrey Calderon, Valeria Silva, Precious Villarreal, Jared Rubio. The following students received medals for 2 entries. They are Alani Cortez, Kane Hinojosa, Clarissa Hasso, and Adam Salinas. At the Weslaco High School art teachers are Diana Juarez and Romeo Salinas. From Weslaco East High School, students who receive superior ratings are Yazaret Arredondo, Alexandra Becerra, Alicia Cantu, Olandra Cardenas, Chloe Cáceres, Odalis Alcantara, Elizabeth Perez, Carlos Garcia Jr., Rhonda Medeles, Caitlin Mendoza, Caitlin Reyes, Priscilla Chaidez, Chris Cuellar, Ashley Pequeño, Larissa Rodriguez, Luis Carizales, Gailey Chairez, Juan Chavez, Marin Cuenca, Taylin Lara, Justina Magos, Nicole Markak, Monica Olivares, Kimberly Quintanilla, America Torres, Rodrigo Villegas, Leonel Jorge Cano, Francisco Zavala, Carolina Maciel, Juan Arzuaga, Caitlin Reyes. The following student won gold medal in 2 entries, Ricky Flores. Also, Isaiah Hernandez and Angie Escalon advanced to state and received a gold medal at state. We also want to congratulate Kimberly Acuna. Kimberly's work was recently chosen during the Celebrating Art National Contest. Her work will be part of the top 25% nationwide chosen for publication in an anthology celebrating artistic excellence in the secondary level. Weslaco East art teachers are James Miller, Maria Miller, and Horacio Ramirez. Congratulations to all our students on finishing out the school year strong.
I'm on.
Is that it, Carlos or Dr. Canales?
That concludes our recognition of our students.
Okay. Congratulations goes out, of course, to all our student athletes, our FFA students, and our art students for the tremendous work. And of course, also the sponsors and coaches that work with them, especially during this pandemic time. Congratulations to all the sponsors and, of course, all of our students. Dr. Canales?
Just very, very proud of our students and our programs, and it's a great testament to the complete educational program that we offer in Weslaco ISD, where we want to be the best in everything so that our students thrive for life. So thank you to all the sponsors, parents, and our students. Kudos.
Next on the agenda is public comments. We don't have anybody signed up for public comments. Item number 7, Superintendent's report. Dr. Canales?
Board of Trustees, we have several items to report this evening. First of all, I want to present it. So let me go to the presentation piece. So first of all, we have student enrollment and attendance. Then we have insurance, a little bit about fiscal year 2020, 2021 preliminary budget figures, fiscal year start date change that we want to present, and then COVID-19 updates. So we'll start with our enrollment. Our enrollment, this is of the week before spring break, so nothing's changed from this slide. You can see that we were down 155 from the previous year at the 26th week of enrollment, the 26th week of school. For ADA, we were down to 96.20 from 96.81, same period, 26 week, 2019 versus 2020. And there you have the 15,891 last year versus the 15,780 this year. We also have been keeping track of the enrollment and withdrawals during the closure. And total, we have 52 students who've enrolled. We've had 70 students who've withdrawn. So we'll keep on keeping track of that. Of course, we're in the summer months now, but we are hoping to collect information from parents through a survey about children coming back. And that concludes the student enrollment presentation.
Any comments from any of the board members?
I have a question.
Okay.
How will the budget for next year be? How will we come up with a budget for next year as far as students are concerned?
In terms of the number of students, we do have a parent survey. We had phone calls the enrichment week going home asking if children would be coming back. We also have another survey going out. We are hoping tomorrow, if not the latest on Wednesday, to parents to gain information. And we have Mr. Sanchez, whose team is working diligently on finalizing, closing out this year so that we have a picture of where we are next year. And he'll be presenting a little bit about that during the fiscal year 2020-2021 preliminary budget figures.
In years of past, we have to pay back if we don't meet our numbers. Is that going to be the norm, or will the state give us some sort of leeway due to this pandemic?
I don't think we're there yet, Mr. Lopez. Let me get Mr. Sanchez to respond to that. Mr. Sanchez, are you available?
Yes, Mr. Lopez, Dr. Canales, members of the board. Concerning next year, TA doesn't know yet. They're not giving us any breaks or anything like that. For the current year, they're making adjustments at the end of the 4-6 weeks that we extended all the way to the end of before spring break. Whatever number we have there, we're gonna get a proportion compared to the prior year to give us to make up for the ADA we didn't get. But as far as next year, they haven't said anything. It doesn't look like they're gonna give us any breaks or anything. They still don't know for sure final figures, but we need to figure it out, like Dr. Canales was mentioning, project students that are planning to come back so we can make some planning for that in that respect concerning staffing or other needs that we have.
Okay. So when do you make that call, or when do how much more time do we have to make that call as to the number of students?
Before the August, before we get to approve the budget, I'm gonna go over a timeline when I get to that part for a couple more workshops.
Okay.
Before we have the final number, we have to come up with values, students, to make out the best projection we can.
All righty. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Go ahead, Dr. Canales, continue.
For the next report, it's on insurance. Mr. De La Rosa will lead us through this section of the superintendent's report.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Canales, Mr. Nieto, members of the board. These are a few extra supplements to the standard insurance slides that we present since we did reach the end of the third quarter of our plan year. I'd like to break down everything a little bit more in detail.
You muted, Mike. Unmute, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a medical claims that have been paid through May 31st of 2020. So last year at this time, we're at $8.4 million. Through this, and medical claims, we're at $6.7 million. That's a claim difference of $1.7 million less than last year. And we have been reimbursed exactly $534.56 in stop loss reimbursements from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Might want to take notice that in April and May, the medical claims have reduced significantly compared to previous years. One of the reasons this has to do is, for example, all elective procedures have been shut down through April, May, and they just started up in June. March, April, and May. So I'm sure that as facilities start to open up again, we'll probably see a little bit of an increase within the coming months. Next slide, please, Dr. Canales. Okay, these are the prescription drugs that we paid throughout May 31st. So last year at this time, we're at $3.4 million versus this year, we're at 3.9. That's an increase of exactly $520,611.87 over last year. And I don't see anything really out of the ordinary here. Just as the cost of drugs continue to increase and the more specialty drugs are coming out, we will see that cost increase every year. Next slide, please, Dr. Canales. So the last portion of our self-funded health insurance is the administrative fees. So last year we paid approximately $2.3 million versus this year we're at we're approximately $1.9 million, a difference of $397,748. So, and if you see the breakdown below, that kind of breaks down our administrative fees. It's a total administration fee of $41.26 to Blue Cross and Blue Shield. The individual stop loss premium is there, aggregate stop loss premium is there, and then right under, I don't know if anybody can see it under the screen, but it's a net. I have it on my notes here. It is a net cost to the district. Oh, no, I don't. Well, anyway, it's right under that.
I cannot move it, Mr. De La Rosa. I apologize.
No, that's okay. Let's see
There
if I
it is,
have-
there it is, we did it.
Okay, so that's approximate cost of approximately $103 per employee per month. We do get an RX rebate credit from Blue Cross of $34.79, which leaves us net, I believe that's $103 under there. We pay per member per month in administrative fees. So lower than last year. Can I have the next slide, please, Dr. Canales? Finally, this is where we're at overall. We're at, last year at this time, we're at 14.1 million. So now we're at 12.5 million. That's a different or a decrease of $1.6 million or a 13% increase approximately. Does anybody have any questions on the medical part?
Dr. Rivera, any comments?
No comments.
Okay. Any, Mr. Gonzalez, Andrew?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Any of the other board members have any comments on the insurance? All right.
No, Mr. Naylor, I'm good.
Thank you, Mike.
There's one
Dr.
more
Canales?
slide, Dr. Canales, which is the final one.
One more slide.
And that's
Oh, one more slide.
this is the standard self-funded workers' compensation slide that we paid. So last year at this time, we've incurred $264,227.86. This year, we've incurred $171,814.42. Of course, the numbers indicated will be paid and outstanding. And of course, the number of claims we've had 89 last year at this time versus 53 from current fiscal year.
Thank you, Mr. La Rosa.
Thank you.
Ms. Dr. Canales, next item.
For the next piece, Mr. Andres Sanchez will take us through this part of the report, and it's on the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. Mr. Sanchez.
Okay. There you go, on that page, please. Thank you. Dr. Canales, Mr. Nieto, members of the board, these are some preliminary highlights of the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Right now, we're in progress. We're working on it. We received preliminary property values from the appraisal district for the year 2020, dated today, and they show about an increase of 12.3% on the property values. That is the beginning stage right now. They've been publishing values every week as appeals go through. There are about 700 million of property values in appeals right now. So usually by July 25th, they give us the certified values, but because of the impossibility of having face-to-face appeals because of COVID-19, the values may not be ready by July 25th. So that might delay that. That is why we have on the timeline that I'm going to present at the end, approving the tax rate until September to give the appraisal district time to come up with the values we need to use. Right now, we are experiencing problems with the calculations of the average daily attendance, the ADA, for the school year that ended in May. We're having some problem with the calculation of the SASE program ADA. We're looking into it with a company that helped us with those calculations, the programs, and we've been waiting for about a week for the checking on this. I understand other districts, at least 2 other districts that have the same problem. So we're waiting for that so we can work on the calculation of ADA to make our projections when we have better numbers on attendance for the next coming year. So as soon as we get that information, we provide better information to you. In the maintenance, if we don't have those numbers correct, we're gonna give the schools an allocation for next school year of local funds based on 90% of the amount we provided the schools last year. We know the ADA is lower, but since we don't know the number, we're gonna give them 90% of what we did last year. As we get better numbers, like I said, we'll adjust the figures. State-funded departments will be the same case, like special education, compensatory education, bilingual education, early education, CCMR and dyslexia. All those funds, once we get the numbers, we'll give the better numbers to the departments. But for right now, we're going to give them 90% for the amount we would have given them if we got the exact numbers of the ADA. Any questions on that so far?
The only question I have is, I know the state is gonna reduce the budget by, hopefully not too much, but 10%, correct? That's the plan for right now?
Well, there's different information. They had told
Right.
state agencies to cut 5% of the budget.
Okay.
And right now, the federal funds that were coming from the entitlement that have been approved to help the communities, district governments, TA is going to use them instead of foundation funds. So we're going to lose state funds if we're going to get federal funds. So we don't know exactly what we're going to get, but it's probably going to be less money next year. But we don't know what.
And that's a good estimate to go 90% of last year's budget for now, depending on how many students we're going to receive. And then, of course, depending on what type of budget we'll receive from the state this year.
Yes,
Dr. Rivera?
that's what we're trying to do right now.
No,
Yes.
I'm just concerned with a 10% reduction. But again, as you mentioned, maybe later in the year, in the summer, we'll get more figures. But I am concerned with a 10% cut for all the departments. But again, we'll wait.
Yeah,
Yes,
right now, in order for them to put in the budget, because we were waiting, and we don't want schools to go out on the break, and then we haven't entered the budget in the system. So I'm going to give them that figure for now so we can get going with it. Next page, please. Okay. The Federal CARES Act, that is the federal funding that I was talking about. They had announced that under the Elementary, and Secondary Schools Education Relief Act, the ESSER funds, that we were going to get about $6.7 million of funds. So we were all thinking, oh, great, we can do distance learning with this, buy equipment, get internet for students. So we're making all those plans. And then as the weeks went by, they announced that TEA is going to use this fund, the federal funds, instead of foundation funds. So they're going to cut our ADA money because they're going to give us federal funds. So it's confusing, but we don't have any extra funds. But I mentioned that it's announced, but we're not going to be additional funding for us.
Andres, this is the stimulus money?
Yes, sir, the stimulus money.
The stimulus money.
Right.
So what was the original amount?
Well, initially, they got announced 7-something million for us, I believe. Now it's close to 6.7 million right now, the last number that I saw.
That's what it was, 6.7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's not going to be additional funds, so it's not going to really help us.
But Andres, they let
Yes,
they let all the districts on a hope that we're going to get this money, additional money, plus the money we're supposed to get.
Right,
So
correct.
they let all of us to believe we're going to get additional monies, and we're not.
Correct. Yes, sir. Good enough.
Not good
Yeah.
for all the districts, not just Weslaco.
No, everybody, right? Yes, sir. When we approved the budget last year, that we used the House Bill 3 additional fund that we got, the state asked us to do additional bigger pay raises for teachers, especially, and other employees. And so we provided several amounts of pay raises. The board approved an amount that we adopted. And at that time, when we made it, we announced that we were not going to do any pay raises for the second year of the biennium because we're not going to get extra funds. And now we're looking at less funds. So right now, we're going to go with the same pay that we have. No additional pay raises, therefore. For staffing purposes, any vacancies that got created by the end of the school year, we still have a few more that are coming up. We're going to evaluate them carefully to see if we're going to replace those staff members or not. We will have to replace them, but we're going to be very careful with that. I know Ms. Agura's we're going to be working on that very carefully. We're going to continue to work on the proposed revenues and expenditures. As we get more information on values, ADA, and we'll have a better idea of what we're going to be doing. Risk management department staff reviewing the 2019-2020 health claims data through April 30 to project end of the year fiscal year balance. That will help us anticipate a surplus or a deficit that we're going to have. Because I also mentioned earlier that it's looking like we're going to have a good surplus at the end of the year, but we're still 4 months away, so we need to wait for summer to see what happens. Once we can project end of the year, we can see if we'll need to. We can calculate an amount, additional contribution that we need to make to the medical plan. We're hoping that we don't have to, but we'll have a better idea once we get there. On the tax rate, TA, when they passed House Bill 3 and the other laws that happened, Senate bills, the tax rate were compressed. They made him, they decreased them, basically. So last year, for the 2 years ago, for the 2018-2019 school year, our tax rate for M&O was $1 and almost 14 cents. For the following year, 2019-2020, the one we're ending right now, our M&O rate is at $1 and almost 5 cents. For next year, it's going to be less. It's going to be $1 and 3.5 pennies. It's going down about 1.3 pennies from last year. TA is still working on that. They're calculating the tax rate for all the districts. They're supposed to release them by August the 5th. So right now we're using the 1.03 for our calculations. And once we get their number, we'll be able to figure out the tax rate, the tax revenue that we're going to have, so that we can have it for the approval of the budget. On the INS tax rate, we're contemplating an increase of 2 to 3 pennies to help with the payment of the bonds. So as we go with the figures, we'll let you know what the amount will be, the recommendation, but we need to increase the INS rate. So right now we have it at 2 pennies, and we need about 8 pennies, maybe a little bit more, to pay the amount of bonds that we have to pay, which is almost $4 million for the year. Any questions?
Yeah, Andres, 3 questions.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned on the pay raise that there's no pay raise. I understand that, but
Yes,
is there a step increase?
Mr. Gura?
That's a good question, Dr. Rivera.
Yeah.
There.
Yes.
And if,
Yeah,
and if-
we're looking into that, Dr. Canales. Dr. Rivera, we haven't
Okay.
made that determination yet.
Okay, I understand.
I'm
Second
sorry, I was unmuted. I'm sorry.
second question is you mentioned the INS. So
Yes.
is the plan right now with the INS increase? Are you going to increase the total taxes, M&O and INS, 3 pennies compared to what they paid this year? Is that
No, right now it looks like it would be like a 1.7 with a 0.7 or 1.7 increase of the
Okay,
total tax rate.
okay? Tax increase, right?
Yes.
Total. Okay.
Oh, oh,
I understand. And my last question is, and maybe somehow I missed it, is there going to be an increase in the health insurance for teachers, for staff?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
We're hoping we won't need to, but as we continue, we'll have a better idea.
Okay.
And Andres, after we look at all the budget and what money we're going to receive, then probably if we can give a pay raise, then maybe we can look into a stipend instead of a pay raise. That's something that some school districts are doing across the state. So maybe that's something, depending on how much we get. But just food for thought.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we had discussed that as well.
Okay.
Okay. Dr. Canales. Okay. This is the tentative timeline that I have lined up for the approval of the budget and tax rate. We have discussed having a budget workshop on June 29. So that would be considered workshop number 1. And if we need to have a workshop for the following week on the meeting on July 6th, the regular meeting for July. Then on the regular meeting for August 10th, have a 3rd workshop as we get better information to refine the budget. Then on August 24th, we have the public hearing to discuss the budget. And then the special meeting afterwards, approve the budget. Then sometime in September, probably towards the end of September, a public hearing to discuss the tax rate. And then subsequently the same day, a special meeting to approve the tax rate.
Andres, one question just on the budget workshops.
Yes, sir.
Don't schedule one if you don't have new information.
Yes, I understand. Yes, so that's why I said tentative.
Yes.
Now we don't need it, just wait till August.
Right.
Yes, sir. I understand. Any other questions on the budget?
Any other questions from Dr. Jaime?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay, Mr. Lopez,
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez,
I'm good. Thank you.
Coach Cuellar? Is Coach Cuellar on? Continue, Dr. Canales.
One question, Mr. Nieto.
Okay, Dr. Rivera.
One question. Andres?
Yes, sir.
All staff, it's going to be a challenging summer. So just do the best you can. And I know that in the end, you're going to come up with a fair budget for the new year. Again, it's going to be a challenging summer. So good luck to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, for the next section of the report, we do have the fiscal year start date change. This is something that we had been asked to look into, and Mr. Sanchez will lead us through this presentation as well, as soon as I can get my computer. I don't know what.
There you go. Can you go back to the prior page, Dr. Canales?
It went to, hold on one second. There you go.
Okay. We're evaluating the possibility of changing the beginning of the fiscal year from September 1 to July 1. If we do that, we will have to start the following year, 2020-21, would be what's called a planning year. The next year, 21-22, would be a 10-month fiscal year. We will start on September 1, but we would end on June 30. And the next year, 22-23, will be the first 12-month fiscal year that begins on July 1 and ends on June 30. Advantages for this change will be the school will have their budget available to order supplies, whatever they need for the start in August. As it is right now, the schools, they don't run out of supplies because they plan ahead. The principals organize the budget so they can buy ahead before like at the end of the school year, they prepare supplies to have it ready. But this time we're given access to all the budget. The salary contracts for everybody will be aligned with the fiscal year. Right now we have them in July or August. This time they will start, the fiscal year will start July 1, so all the contracts will fall within the fiscal year. We won't have any contract that start before or later or anything like that. Because of the fiscal year, most of the fiscal year revenue will have been earned and received by June 30, and we would only pay 10 months of expenditures. We would have, in the year that we change 21-22, for example, we would generate an additional surplus of funds. By June 30, we collected most of the property taxes on the current levy, and on the delinquent taxes, we're getting pretty close, but we'll generate all that. If we have good attendance in school, we will generate all the ADA because school ends at the end of May. So all the revenue is pretty much earned, and the expenditures from July and August, mostly payroll, utilities, and some of those items that we buy in July and August, they will be part of the following year expenditures. So we will have 2 months of spending that will not happen. A conservative estimate of the additional surplus is at least $4.5 million. Probably going to be more, but being conservative, we'd say that it's $4.5 million. These funds would help us to increase the district unassigned fund balance in the local maintenance fund. We want to have 90 days of fund balance. Right now, we're in the 60s. We're getting better at the end of the year of what we have, but as we make payments or budget amendments that take money out of the fund balance, the amount decreases. So we can increase $4.5 or more $1 million when we switch. That will help us to get closer to the amount we need to have 90 days. Any questions?
Just one, Andres.
Yes, sir.
Do a little research to see how many districts are under this this fiscal year calendar. Just curious.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat? I couldn't hear the question.
Yeah, just kind of research to see how many districts in Texas are doing this kind of start instead of the traditional September the 1st. Just kind of little research.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I have a list. We looked into the TA website, and I can add it or mention in the update. There's a lot of districts that have it. At least 6 districts in the valley have it also.
How many?
I like it because the additional funds. It is. I'm going to mention. Let me mention some of the items here that come with the change. But I have a list, and I provide the number of districts in Texas that will have it.
I think it's a good.
Sure. On the disadvantages of the change,
yes,
would be that. I'm sorry. You still asking me something? I'm having trouble with the sound here, so.
Mr. Nieto had a question.
Yes, sir.
No, I didn't. Continue. Continue.
Okay. The budget preparation for fiscal years, whenever there's a legislative session, information on legislative changes may not be available by June 30 when we adopt the budget. The property values, again, will not be available because those are released on July 25th. If we approve a budget before June 30, we will have that information. So we will have to have a budget that has more conservative figures than we usually do. As you know, we try to project conservative numbers on ADA, tax collections. Now with this, we'll have to be a lot more conservative. We can always amend the budget after the budget starts when things change as far as revenues, but we will have to make a lot of more conservative assumptions with that. One of the toughest tasks that have to take place is PIMS information. Finance and PIMS have to work very closely because the PIMS information has to be reported in the year of change and on the following year, basically twice. When we switch, the year that we switch, even though the year is going to end in June 30, on June 30, we have to report PIMS through July and August. We're going to do 12 months of PIMS and only 10 months of financial expenditures. And on the following year, we're going to go to July 1 to June 30. So we're going to report again the PIMS from July 1 to June 30. So those 2 months, July and August, have to be reported twice. So the PIMS department have to do a lot of calculations and movements with that. So there's going to be a lot of work between business office, human resources, and technology to work on this. It'll be a lot of work, but we can do it. And then as far as
Andres, you mentioned that how many school districts in the valley already are in the...
At least 6 that we have it.
Okay.
On the fiscal year, the board has to approve the change on the fiscal year. We have to show that it's been discussed with the budget committee, finance committee, which we could consider it right now. We have this discussion on it. Because it has to be discussion and then board approval to show TA that we really meant it to change it. And then we have to file a form with TA. It's called FIN 003. It's usually filed no later than June 30, 1 year in advance of the change. But TA makes exceptions to this deadline, so they can wait if we don't do it by June 30. Right now, we're looking at recommending to the board on the June 29, after the workshop and the special meeting for the board to approve this change. And then as soon as we have a chance, the following week, when we have the meeting, we could have the board minutes approved for that meeting. So we can have the approval, the minutes to accompany with the form and send it to TA. TA has to receive it and then they'll approve it. If we decide later on within the year not to change fiscal years after all, we just notify TA that we're not going to do it and nothing happens.
Okay. Any final comments, Dr. Rivera?
No.
Okay. Dr. Jaime?
Yes, Mr. Sanchez. So you feel like this is overall just a better option for the district?
Plus, it'll get us more money. That will. Yeah.
And this would be a one-time change, correct?
Yes, sir. The year of when it becomes 10 months.
Thank you.
Mr. Lopez?
He pretty much answered it right now. My question was going to be if there's any possibility of losing any kind of funds due to us changing to a 10-month year. No,
it's usually an increase of funds, not a losing funds.
A one-time increase. Yes. Correct.
We get all the revenues, but we only spend 10 months out of the 12 months.
Coach Cuellar, any comments? Oh,
no, I'm fine.
Mr. Lopez, you had another comment? No. Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Continue, Mr. Sanchez or Dr. Canales?
Okay, for the final section of the reports, the COVID-19 updates, the information before you just indicates that the cases are going up, the recoveries are going up, and fatalities have gone up about a little less than 800 from last month at May 11th, 2020, when we look at this. The cases in the area have increased. There's more testing. Hidalgo County is up to 701. That was as of when I checked the information today after the lunch hour. Webb County is up to 594 and Cameron County is up to 892. There is more testing going on in our area. COVID-19, it's really changed the way decision making is happening from the TA level all the way to the district level. Before, we used to count on TA providing the guidance in UIL and planning our years, making our plans. Now, not only does our district and all districts in Texas have to look at TA and UIL, but we also, and TA also, has to look at what's coming in from the United States government, from the Centers of Disease Control, from our governor's office, and in us in Weslaco ISD from the County of Hidalgo, the officials from the county. So things have changed in terms of decision-making and considerations for decision-making when you're planning everything from summer schools to the opening of the school year. We are planning, and I want to emphasize that we are in the planning phases right now, 2020, 2021. The Commissioner Rath for the state of Texas has advised districts to use a document from TA called Summer Instruction Activities and School Visits, Guidance for Reopening and Student Interaction. He has advised us to have a plan A based upon this guidance, a plan B, which is a little bit more lenient or softer, and a plan C to be ready to close and go remotely as quickly and as efficiently as possible. The key for all of us is going to be flexibility. It is my understanding that TA will provide guidance, more guidance for next school year sometime in July. So team and I continue to be part of Commissioner Rath's weekly meetings. Sometimes we meet twice a week, sometimes it's just once a week. So we're not going to know what the 2020-2021 school year will look like at any given moment, but we do know that it will fall in some part of a continuum. And as leaders and educators, we must prepare for it all. And we must be extremely flexible so that we meet the needs of our students and our families. So what might this look like? When we talk about the learning continuum, we're talking from face-to-face, good old instruction, the benefit of the teacher in the classroom, engaging the students, student-to-student interaction, what we all grew up with. That's face-to-face learning or in-person learning. We have to be ready to go 100% remote. That is, once again, students going home where, let's say, for example, we may be in shelter in place. Students go home and it's 100% virtual, and we want to get to 100% virtual. We know we have some needs right now in some areas of our district where our children and our parents can't have, don't have connectivity and can't have it even if they wanted it. So the other way that we handled it during the spring semester was through packets. So we have to be ready for that again, 100% remote learning. We also have to plan for something called hybrid learning. That's where we have rotating schedules of students coming in face-to-face. Right now, TA is saying it's no more than 11 people in a classroom setting. That includes the teacher, and if a teacher has an instructional assistant or an inclusion support teacher, that includes them and the students. And the students must be spaced 6 feet apart. So in a hybrid learning, you're going to have some students in school face-to-face and some remote. So that constitutes, along with a sporadic short-term closure, which will shift us quickly into remote learning, the learning continuum that we're looking at, not only in Weslaco ISD, but the TA is having all districts across Texas look at. In Weslaco ISD, we believe in the power of teamwork. I want to give to Cabinet, to Mr. Aguilar and Mrs. Peterson, who've been part of leading.
Did she freeze? She's frozen.
We can't understand anything.
It just froze. It froze. Click on it and see if you're frozen. It's she'll be up in about 2 minutes.
Okay, I had to switch computers. I apologize for that. My so I switched computers. I'm talking about the spirit of teamwork that exists in our district, and our board of trustees is something that you asked us to embrace, and we have. So we do have several Ms. Ramdas pointed out, Julie Kelly, committee, and we're looking at the wonderful lessons that we learned from the remote experience in the spring and using those to plan our path forward when it comes to not only the remote learning, how do we get better at that, because we absolutely want to be the best at that. How do we create the best possible hybrid learning situation? And what have we learned from our remote learning that when we have an opportunity to be face-to-face, it's going to make us even stronger. So we are looking at those things in the spirit of teamwork. We also have our Aspiring Campus Administrators Academy, and one of their exercises was to create a learning environment based upon the learning continuum. So they did great presentations. We're using that and presenting that to the Teaching and Learning Continuum Design Committee. Of course, we have our wonderful principals with their SIFs and them getting feedback from their teachers that are feeding what this looks like here. And we have cabinet also looking at it. So it'll be a continuous process, like a design committee, and then lots of feedback along the way, because we know in our district, our goals are high, and we truly want everybody selected at the right choice. Do you have another slide, Mr. Martinez? If you'll bear with me, because I'm away from my computers, I can't control the presentation. I can't see it. And you have to be ready. It's really, really important that we do that. The other thing we're planning to look into is what is the implication for the calendar. If we do have to close for a significant amount of time, are we going to have to add days to the calendar, or what are we going to do? TA has asked us to look at two things. That's an intersessional calendar, where you have breaks in between all year long, or adding instructional days. So that would be, as we plan, that would be something else that we definitely consider. We are looking at outlining the best tech resources, what's needed for the teachers when they are facilitating learning in a hybrid situation or in a remote situation. What does that mean for the types of technology that we have? Not only the hardware, but the software. And we're doing the same, asking the same questions for the students. And then once we identify how we're going to do it, what's needed, we will have the conversation about the calendar, but it will lead to other robust conversations about continuously pushing the envelope and getting better and better in the learning environments. Because one thing we do know, TA has said, be ready next year. And we're personally looking forward to the information from TA in July so that we can finalize. I don't think if we start planning that, I don't think TA is going to come with something very surprising that we're going to have to throw everything away. We may have to tweak it when we get the information from TA. And I believe, I don't have the presentation in front of me, I believe that concludes this section of the superintendent's report.
Any comments on the superintendent's report? Dr. Rivera?
Yeah, the unknown one. We're not sure what's going to happen in August. They're like was mentioned, either face-to-face, remote. It just unknown, and eventually we'll figure it out.
Correct. Mr. Lopez, any final comments on superintendent's report?
Yes, Dr. Canales, I know it's difficult right now during this time and with all the unknowns, and it's going to be a big challenge for you, for staff and administration to get this thing rolling, and especially when time does not stand by when the beginning of the school year is coming. So as a board member, we're here to help you in any way we can.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Dr. Jaime?
Dr. Canales, you mentioned the correct software and the hardware. And, I'd like to just, emphasize that more than likely there's probably going to be some form of online learning, and we need to make sure that we have whatever we need to make that process the best that it can be. So, you have my support in doing what we need to do to make sure we've got the equipment and software that we need for that.
And if I may add, now, since I don't have the presentation in front of me because my computer's frozen and it's on the other side of the room, we are looking at a partnership with the city and collaborating with them. They've been our great partners and asking for some joint projects when it comes to connectivity. So just wanted to share that with you. We do have something ready to go for that part.
Coach Cuellar?
No, just, I agree with what everyone's saying, and we have to do what we have to do and make adjustments as we go, but move forward the best way that we can.
And I feel we're in the right direction with the leadership of Dr. Canales, of course, going through the pandemic, and of course, the principals and the teachers virtually working from home. They did an outstanding job during the last 8 weeks. So I think with the proper planning, the proper guidance at the beginning of the year, regardless whether it's face-to-face, virtual, hybrid learning, I think we'll do an outstanding job.
Mr. Nieto, I have one more piece. As part of the COVID-19, since central office staff is back working, we are ready to lift the tolling of the grievances and parent complaints. And also our public information office is already ready to respond to open records requests. That concludes the COVID-19 update.
Thank you. Now we go to item number 8, consent agenda. I'll give you a minute to look at them, and I'll ask for any items that need to be discussed. I'll start with any items that need to be discussed. Dr. Jaime?
I'm fine. I have none.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, item R.
Dr. Rivera?
Just for information, I'm going to pull T, U, and V. T, U, V.
T, U, V. T, U, and V. Okay. Mr. Lopez?
No, I have nothing to pull.
Okay. Mr. Cuellar?
None.
And I don't have any. So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, excluding R, T, U, and V for information purposes.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez and a second by Mr. Lopez to approve the consent agenda, except for R, T, U, and V. I will ask each one individually. Say aye. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
And myself, motion carries. Let's go back to item R. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, Dr. Canales, I was just wanting to know if these are 2 new courses that will be provided by the district, and if Ms. Avila can just briefly tell us what it is.
It's not working. Oh, there. Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Canales, school board members. Mr. Zamora did ask me to take these 2 innovative courses to the board. I believe it's for his EMT certification that he is going to need to add courses to align to the high school I'm sorry, to the STC courses for the program of study. Mr. Zamora can chime in.
Everybody's getting Amber Alerts.
Good evening, Dr. Canales, board members. This upcoming school year, we'll be having our first cohort with the emergency medical technician program with STC. So these courses are needed within the course master, so we can have our students enrolled. This has been 4 years in the making, and this upcoming school year, our students will be, this will be the first group for that EMT cohort.
It's been added.
Thank you. That's, I just wanted to, for people to know, for the community to know exactly what we're doing now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Rivera, item TU and V.
Yeah, altogether, I just didn't see any, unless I missed something, I didn't see any backup to all three on the agenda.
Okay, so I'll begin with T. T is for the
No. What I mean, there was no backup. Can you provide it on the update?
Yeah, yes, sir, we can.
I don't need, just on the update, what the backup was.
Yes, sir, we can. We'll do that.
Dr. Rivera, I will, if I could chime in, Dr. Canales, I will say that you can't download the waiver from the TA website until it's signed. There's nothing to download. So I'll just provide additional information on the update, but you can't download the actual waiver.
Correct.
Then Dr. Rivera, we will have the attestation for the missed school days as long as we continued instruction remotely. That we were able to download. So we do have a copy of that we can send you.
Okay, I'm okay.
It's an attestation. Okay.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve RT-UMV?
I'll make a motion to approve RT-UNV of the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez and a second by Dr. Rivera to approve RT-UMV. All in favor, please say aye when I call your name. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Yes, aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
And myself, Mr. Nieto, motion passes. Let's go to item number 9, discussion items. A, interim financial report for the 9 months ended May 31st, 2020. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, Mr. Sanchez will lead this section of the board meeting. No action is required. Mr. Sanchez.
Yes, Dr. Canales, Mr. Nieto, members of the board. For the 9 months ended May 31, 2020, in the general fund of budgeted revenues of $183,844,000, we have received $145,613,000. That represents 79.20% of the budget for revenues. And on the expenditures in the general fund as well, of a total budgeted $190,729,000, we have expended or encumbered $126,073,000, and that represents 66%. Right now, at the end of May, we should be at 75% of the budget. So both sections are good.
Andres, usually you have backup. So on the update, can you put the backup on this one? Usually you have a hard copy for the board.
Yes. You don't have it in the agenda?
There was no backup. Well, I didn't see it.
Okay. Yes, so we'll put it, not a problem.
It's on there. Out of this amount, Andres, we'll have some money left over. I'm assuming at the end of the budget year.
Right now, it looks like it will be like that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. All right. Any other comments? There's a no action item. All right. Item B, acknowledgement of Hidalgo County Tax Office collection report for April 2020. Current taxes and delinquent taxes. Dr. Canales.
Okay, this is also no action item, and Mr. Sanchez will highlight some key points on this item.
Yes, for the April 2020 report, our current taxes, we have collected $23,217,202. We have had $142,000 of decreases on adjustments made to property values, and that represents total collections of 91.84%. Last year, at the end of April, we had collected 92.19%. So that amount is, the current year is 30.35% less than last year. That's a small amount less. On the delinquent taxes, though, we have received $560,510, and we have had adjustments of decreases of $224,000. So that reduces the collection to 14.58% of the amount we started with. Last year, at this time in April 30, we had collected 18.50%. So that is 3.92% less. That amount is lower. It probably continue to be lower, I don't know, with the current condition. The budget that we have set up was 92% for current taxes. We have collected 91.84, so that we collected most of it. And on delinquent taxes, we have budgeted 20%. We have collected 14.58%. So far, they're going good, both items.
And is the reasons because of this pandemic that we had that a lot of people didn't go pay their taxes, Andres?
For that will be for the next year. Right now, so far it's going good. Like, so current taxes, most of them have been collected because they were for December. Now, when people start paying taxes for the remainder of the year, like right now, they said some people don't have money to pay the mortgage payments, and they delay payments for 3 months. So they're probably going to be less taxes sent to us for the mortgage companies or to the tax office, November and December, and then also in January. So right now we're good. The ones coming up later on, I expect it to be lower.
Okay.
Again, Andres, on mine, there was no, I had the hard copy. So I don't have that one, or at least for me. Can you put it on the update?
Yeah, yes, sir. I will.
On A and B, there was no backup for me. I had the hard copy.
Okay.
Just for me, for the update.
Yeah, yes, sir. Not a problem.
Any other comments by any other board members? Mr. Lopez?
No, I'm good. I've heard, I have heard though that other cities are having trouble with their tax collections and
correct,
so forth. So I think we're in a good shape.
Okay. Dr. Jaime?
No, sir. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gonzalez or Coach Cuellar?
No, fine.
No, I'm good. Thank you, Andres.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
We'll continue now with item C. Presentation by Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mont, LLP, Delinquent Tax Attorneys Firm, of the Delinquent Tax Collection Activity Report for the period from September 1st, 2019 through April 30, 2020. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, this report is for 8 months. We do have Mr. Iram A. Gutierrez who will lead you through the report. You should have a binder that's been provided to you.
It's a small handout in the binder.
I'm sorry, what, Andres?
It is a small handout in the binder.
It's a small handout in the binder. I'm sorry, it's this one. Oh, it's stuck to my binder. This one.
Yes, that one.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Gutierrez, are you available?
Yes,
you
I'm
are.
here.
Hello, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Canales. Good evening, President Nieto and members of the board. For the record, Iram Gutierrez, partner with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mont, your delinquent tax firm. I'm here to present you your report for September 1st, 2019 through April 30th, 2020. And Mr. Sanchez has already covered some of the highlights of collections. Unfortunately, as he stated, collections have dropped a bit. But our focus is on working with taxpayers to collect your delinquent taxes. And in that effort, we've made over 6,116 phone calls involving delinquent tax accounts in Weslaco ISD. We have conducted mass mailings involving over 5,500 notice of delinquency. Property inspections, we've done 60 during this period. It's actually more now since I've done some just this past week. Payment agreements, we've entered to 69 payment agreements involving over $107,000 in base tax. Litigation, when all those efforts don't work, we do proceed to litigation. During this period, we've filed 69 new suits involving over $107,000 owed to to Weslaco ISD. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. 98 original petitions involving over $779,000 in base tax owed to the ISD. When all those efforts don't work, calls, mailings, personal visits, and suits, We did proceed to tax sale during this period. We put 14 properties up for tax sale. 5 of them resulted in payment agreements or payments in full, bringing in over $8,700 to the school district. 4 properties were struck off to the entities. In other words, no winning bids were received. That involved over $37,900 owed to the school district. And 5 properties were sold, bringing in over $23,000 in base tax to the school district. And by the way, we're on page 4 of the report. Also, when the property struck off to the taxing entities, then we proceed to a tax resale. During this period, we have 11 properties that went to tax resale. 11 were sold, bringing in over $54,000 owed to the school district. We also represent you in bankruptcy during this period. We filed 14 new proofs of claim involving over $158,000 owed to the school district. And as Mr. Sanchez stated before, during this period, the collections were $560,000 in base tax and an additional $260,000 in penalties and interest for a grand total of $821,484 for the school district. How does that compare to last year? Last year, by this period, you were at 18.50%. This period, we're at 14.58% collection rate. And that concludes my report, and I'd like to open it up for any questions you might have.
Dr. Rivera?
One question real quick. I just don't want to see people kicked out of their homes. Do we have anyone that is in that category?
No, not that we know of, Dr. Rivera. In fact, the next item on the agenda is a tax resale that we're proposing. There's 14 properties, but one has already been taken off. So there's actually 13 properties. I personally inspected any property that had any kind of improvement on it. I inspected it last Friday and last week, that is. And I've looked at all the properties personally. There are no one living in any of these properties. There's actually only, out of those 13, there's only 2 properties that have some sort of structure that could be considered a home. And I personally visited those properties, and there is no one living in those properties. In fact, I would say they're becoming something of a nuisance because one of the properties that I came to in downtown, door was wide open, everything was disheveled right in the interior of the house as I came in. One of the neighbors mentioned that people have been trespassers, that is, have been going in and out of that property. So I would say they're more of a liability at this point, and I would again recommend that we do proceed to sell. Again, no one living in those properties.
Okay.
Any other comments by any of the board members?
Thank you for the information, Iram.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
All right. Let's continue to discussion and possible action items. Item A, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval to change the regular board meeting schedule on July 13, 20. Dr. Canales?
Board of Trustees, we're asking for your approval to move the July 13, 2020 board meeting, which is the first day of summer vacation for many staff members, and districts will be closed for vacation beginning that day. We're asking you to move it, to consider moving it to Monday, July 6th, which is a preferred date, or Tuesday, July 7th. And of course, we will abide by your wishes.
Motion to approve Monday, July the 6th.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Dr. Jaime to approve the change of the regular scheduled board meeting scheduled on July 13th to July the 6th. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, please say aye when I mention your name. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, discussion of possible action for the board to consider approval of the Weslaco ISD 2020-2021 vision, mission, and goals. Dr. Canales?
Board of Trustees, This year, we sought feedback from our district advisory committee team, our principals, our directors, and others. We discussed the impact of the remote learning in COVID-19 and talked about whether the goals needed to change. We believe in our goals and the descriptors underneath the goals, which are action-oriented. The question was, do we want to add and be specific about the continuum of learning environments that were presented during the superintendent's report, from remote, face-to-face, hybrid, to the sporadic closures. So the consensus of the different teams who provide feedback, who include DAC on May 18th through a virtual meeting, our principals on May 29th and June 4th, our directors on June 1st, and cabinet. We would like to have the words, and you can see it in, I'll just point out number 1, student success, literacy focus. You can see provide high quality, engaging, and innovative programs along the continuum of learning environments. So we added those words to reflect what we expect to experience in 2020-2021 school year. The other change that we did make has to do with our partnerships with our parents, our community, our businesses, and our industries, where we know that those partnerships will likely have to be a lot of virtual collaboration. So we added innovative and multiple platforms. So we're seeking your approval for the changes in the superintendent's and district goals for 2020-2021.
Looks good. Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Mr. Gonzalez to approve the Weslaco ISD 2020-21 vision, mission, and goals. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye when I mention your name. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval of revision to local policy AE educational philosophy. Dr. Canales.
So Board of Trustees, we are asking to update AE logo to reflect our vision, mission, and our goals. I don't know if you have the proposed revisions to it, but what it does include our mission statement, our vision statement, and the goals that you have just approved. So it's just an update to local policy. And I do have Dr. Sergio Garcia, who's worked with TASB on it, but it's just, again, taking our vision that has been approved, our mission, and then the modifications to the goals that you just approved and putting them in policy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Jaime and a second by Coach Cuellar to approve the revision to local policy AE educational philosophy. Any discussion? All right. Take it a vote. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, discussion and possible action for the board to consider renewal of the district's auto physical damage insurance or authorize administration to solicit proposals for the same RFP 190739. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, last year the district conducted an RFP for comprehensive fleet and auto insurance. The district's fleet policy covers all owned, hired, and non-owned vehicles in the event of an auto accident. The policy also covers damage caused to other vehicles during an accident. AGCS was recommended and awarded the auto physical damage portion of the fleet auto insurance program. AGCS only issues 10-month policy options, so this coverage will expire at the end of this month, June 29th. Travelers retain the auto liability portion, which is a 12-month policy and will be brought to the board later for consideration. So you do have before you the price difference is approximately $4,902, and that is due the increase. It's an increase due to property market conditions and claims experience with. So we are seeking your approval to renew AGCS Marine Insurance Company Alliant as submitted by Shepherd Walter King Insurance Group, SWK, for auto physical damage. And Mr. De La Rosa is available to answer any questions that you may have.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Coach Cuellar to renew the district auto and physical damage insurance with AGCS. Any discussion?
Mr. Nieto, I will abstain from this item.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Gonzalez will abstain. All in favor, please say aye when I call your name out. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion carries. Item E. Discussion possible actions for the board to consider approval to modify the criteria and points to be used for ranking the proposals to be received as part of phase 2 of the design build process for the HVAC controls at Weslaco East High School project, RFQ number 200107. Dr. Canales.
The Board of Trustees on November 11, 2019, you approved the design build procurement method of construction for the project. The agenda item approved by you at the time included the criterion points to be used for the evaluation of the qualification statements to be received as a part of phase 1 of the design build process. However, the criteria and points for the evaluation of proposals to be received as part of phase 2 of the design build process was not included. Therefore, the administration recommends that the board consider for approval the criterion points listed below for the RFP. This must be done prior to releasing the RFP to the design build teams listed below. We will bring an agenda item to the board for approval on the project. We're estimating on August 10th, 2020. So we are seeking your approval of the evaluation criterion points to be used for the ranking of proposals for the project.
Can I ask Andres and Americo if they're okay with these points?
Yes, Dr. Rivera, we discussed them with Coach Rojas, Americo, myself, Valde Garcia, and purchasing, and we feel comfortable with these points and criteria.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Coach Cuellar to approve to modify the criterion points to be used for the ranking proposals to be received as part 2 of phase 2 of the design build process for the HVAC controls at Weslaco East High School project. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye when I call you out your name. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Cuellar?
Aye.
And motion carries. Item F. Discussion of possible action for the board to consider approval to modify the criteria and points to be used for ranking the proposals to be received as part of phase 2 of the design build process for the LED lighting project district-wide, RFQ number 200314. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, back in December, you approved the design build procurement method of the construction for this project. At that time, you did approve the criteria and points to be used for the evaluation of the qualification statements as part of phase 1 of that project. We're asking you now to approve the criteria for phase 2, which is for the RFPs. And we're expecting to bring a final agenda item to you, or the agenda item to you on this in August. So we're seeking your approval of the criteria and points to be used for the ranking of proposals to be received from 5 approved finalists as part 2 or phase 2 of the design build process for the LED lighting project district-wide.
Motion to approve.
We
I'll
have a,
second that.
okay, Mr. Lopez. We have a motion by Dr. Jaime, second by Mr. Lopez to approve the criteria and points to be used for ranking the proposals as part of the phase 2 of the design build process for the LED lighting project district-wide. Any discussion? All right.
Same,
Go ahead.
same on Mr. Nieto on staff. They're okay with the points.
Yes, Dr. Rivera. We discussed them again of the different criterion points. We feel very comfortable with it.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye when I call your name out. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving right along, item G, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval for the construction of the new band hall at Weslaco East High School, project CSP 180622 as follows. Item 1, allowance expenditures for additional work needed and to accept the credit. And number 2, a change order for the corresponding additional dates. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, Mr. Americo Garza is present and will be leading this one. Mr. Garza.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Canales, Mr. Nieto, members of the board. This item consists of allowance expenditures. Actually, 3 of those are allowance expenditures, and change order number 2 for the corresponding number of days. Allowance expenditure number 4R1 consists of 1 cost proposal, and that is for ceramic tile that was installed in the shower of the staff bathroom. That shower was not originally included with ceramic tile under the construction documents, and so we opted to include it to make sure that everything was uniform throughout the bathroom. The original cost for that one was $2,700, actually $2,762, and there was a negotiated $2,500 cost from another allowance expenditures, and it was applied to this one for a total of $262, with 7 days increased through the contract. Allowance expenditure 5R1, another one with 1 cost proposal request under it, and this is for additional requirements by the fire marshal for additional exit signs and emergency lighting that was requested, and that was a total of $3,870 with a 14 days increase to the contract. And then allowance expenditure number 6, this allowance expenditure consists of 3 cost proposal requests: 8R3, 12R2, and 13R1. 8R3 cost proposal request consists of additional requirements by the City of Weslaco and the Fire Marshal, which consisted of pipe ballers for protecting the flow preventer of the main fire sprinkler line, also fire lane striping, and additional ADA signs for the parking stalls. The cost for this one is $3,140 with 7 days approved out of 14 days requested. CPR number 12R2 under this same allowance expenditure is for the relocation of the main fire alarm panel, which was originally installed as required to be under supervision at the director's office. However, after consideration and reviewing the installation, it was going to take away a lot of space within the office for furniture location and arrangement of the office. So that was relocated to within sight of the director's office, and that cost came in at $4,219. No days were approved or requested due to it was after the substantial completion had already been awarded. The cost proposal request under that allowance expenditure is 13R1. It's a credit for reduced scope. So there was a manhole that was not installed in lieu of another device that was installed, a valve for sewage treatment. And so that manhole was credited back to us, the cost of that manhole. And also there was a scoring that had been requested of the slab between the 2 buildings, the old band hall and the new band hall. and that the scoring was to be saw cut into it. The contractor was unable to perform that saw cutting, so we requested the credit for that. And that total credit came in at $2,159 with the credit with the cost of the other CPRs under this allowance expenditure. And so there was additional days also and not for approval. The allowance expenditure had already been approved for allowance expenditure number 3, but not the days. And that's the last item on that table of the. That's 7 days that were approved. So the total is $6,191 of this allowance expenditures, and the days approved additional to the contract is 35 days. And that moves the completion of the contract to May 11th, 2019. Any questions?
America, one question. The project was started on July 2018?
Yes, sir.
July 13, 2018?
Yes, sir.
That's when the project started?
Yes, sir.
When is the anticipated complete finish where the kids can use it full-time?
The substantial completion was achieved officially on November 8th, 2019.
Mhm.
And
But
so
not- Go ahead.
we're still working with delayed days, rain days, which is something that's still pending to bring to the board for approval. We are anticipating some liquidated damages as well, because there's quite a few days that were delayed. And so we're working with the requested days versus the approved days, as well as one more allowance expenditure because of the acoustics in the rehearsal halls of the building. And so that's under processing as well.
But it's being used already every day?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So this work will not allow the kids not to be able to use it?
No, sir. The kids moved in right after December, and that was because from November 8th to December, we were working on preparing the building with additional waxing of the floors and assembling of furniture that was ordered, and waiting for the furniture to arrive as well. So, but the kids already moved in.
Okay. I'll make the motion to approve.
Do I have a second? We have a motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Mr. Lopez to approve the construction of a new band hall at Weslaco East High School project, CSP number 1806-022, the allowable expenditures, and of course, the corresponding days also 35. Any other discussion? All right, let's go call the vote. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving along to item H. Discussion of possible action for the board to consider approval of a resolution authorizing the resale of foreclosed real estate properties for failure to pay at Delaware, Texas. Dr. Canales.
Okay, clerk, please, and now you'll need your binder. So you do have the binder. Our delinquent tax attorney's firm, Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott LLP, is presenting these properties and asking the board to approve the resolution authorizing the proposed resale of these 13 foreclosed real estate properties. Attorney Iran Gutierrez will be present. He is here, and as we heard from him earlier, and he's here to answer any questions you may have. If the board approves the resale of these properties at the minimum value recommended for resale by Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott, the properties will be offered for resale at a price not less than the minimum price approved. The properties may sell for a higher price than the minimum price being considered by the board. Any properties that may be sold during the tax resale do not need to be taken to the other governmental entities for approval. The deeds will be signed by the Hidalgo County Sheriff. There will be no further action needed by the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees for any of the sold properties. So, Mr. Gutierrez.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Canales, President Nieto, and members of the board. As I had stated earlier, we had originally 14 properties, but number 10 has been taken off. Again, all these properties, they either are vacant lots or are or have a structure that I have personally inspected and determined that there is no one living on that property. We are asking for your approval of this resolution to sell these properties.
Hiram, Erasmo Lopez here. On
Yes, sir,
number
Mr. Lopez.
12, there appears to be some vehicles in the driveway. And I, like Dr. Rivera, I'm concerned and do not want to put anybody out of their homes. What is the explanation for that vehicle being in the parking lot?
Is
or
that
in
a
the
blue
driveway?
vehicle? Mr. Lopez, I don't have the photograph in front of me, but is that a blue vehicle?
I really can't make out the color. I believe I have a black and white picture. Seems to be a Ford, either pickup or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then another picture, there's nothing.
Hmm. Two, 5, 3, 9. I'm looking at it right now, Mr. Lopez.
Which property was that, Mr. Lopez?
Number 12?
Number 12?
There's two pictures. One of them, the color picture really doesn't show anything, but the black and white picture shows the vehicle. Really, it's two vehicles there.
Okay.
Mr. Lopez, I can't answer that question at this point. If there's any questions about it, we can remove that one. And if you'd like to approve the rest of the properties, we can go forward with that. I see the concern with the vehicles on that property.
You know, there's two pictures, Mr. Gutierrez, and if the picture of 07/25/19 was taken earlier than the colored picture, the picture in color, then it does look abandoned in that one picture, but the other picture does show vehicles there, and that is my concern. If the property has been abandoned since the picture was taken, then I guess it's okay to sell,
Yeah.
and I would be okay with that. But if there is anybody there, and I know you guarantee to us that nobody these properties were vacant, I would strongly go against the sale of that property.
Yeah. And again, I mean, one of the reasons I personally went to go inspect the properties is because the photographs that we had were old. And so now I see this photograph, and this photograph, there's clearly a vehicle there. And when I visited properties after that, they were vacant. We can approve it, and I can do a subsequent inspection. And again, these properties would not go up for sale to the first month of July. I'm sorry, first Tuesday of July. And if there's any issues, we just won't proceed with that one.
Yeah, may I say something? In the agenda item on the 4th page, I included an email that Mr. Gutierrez sent me on Thursday at noon. It was 1:01 the afternoon. He mentioned there, I took photos of property 12 and 13 this morning and confirmed they are both empty. And then the picture that you have on color shows like there's a fence dividing. That one shows that there's nobody there. The black and white picture is from last year, from July 2019. That's the one that has a car there. But the one that is in color, he took it on Thursday. And he sent the email stating that they were empty. Properties 12 and 13.
Okay, that clears it up for me then. Then
Okay.
I have no issue.
We have a motion, Mr. Lopez.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Lopez. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Gonzalez to approve the resolution authorizing the resale of foreclosed real estate properties as discussed. We failure to pay ad valorem taxes. All in favor, please say aye. Dr. Hyman?
Mr. Nieto,
Oh,
can I have
any
one
discussion?
question? One question,
Okay.
please. On number 8, there's house. It says that there are 2 WISD students are active at this address. Can we find out and see where these kids are? It says that they're active to see where they live. Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes.
On number 8, you see number 8?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where it has 2 students that are active at this address. Can we just check, have staff go out there and find out where these 2 kids actually live?
Mr. Idam?
Yes, yes, Dr. Canales.
We did check for that, did we?
Yes, we had brought this property prior. It's probably been over a year, and the school district did confirm there was students living there. And this time we went and looked again, and this property is now in fact abandoned. It's clearly abandoned, and I would say probably a nuisance at this point, according to the neighbors. People going in and out of the property. The front door is wide open, and you can see that there's things just strewn up around the entrance of the house. So it looks pretty clear that no one's living there. And Mr. Sanchez, did you check again whether the students are still there?
Well, we checked.
Or registered there?
It was showing two students with the address being active.
Well, if you could just follow up.
We will follow up.
Yeah, where the kids live.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez has another discussion.
On number 2, in the photograph, I see where it's marked off. Now, if we move on to cell, it looks like there's a house in the front.
Let's see. Yeah, that party looks like it's landlocked. I mean, obviously it would have to be, or more than likely, one of the neighbors that would be interested in that piece of property, because yes, it does appear to be landlocked. 1 and 2 appear to be landlocked, and number 6.
Okay, so this doesn't affect those that obviously live in the front.
I couldn't hear that, Mr. Gonzalez.
I said so this doesn't affect obviously those that live in the front track.
No, it can be sold. Obviously, it's going to be harder to sell. Again, this is a property that we attempted to sell before, and no one submitted a winning bid. Again, landlocked properties are very hard to sell, but hopefully at some point one of the neighbors will be willing to purchase it so they can have a larger piece of property.
I don't know the legalities of it, but maybe you can reach out to the homeowner that lives in the property owner that lives in the front.
Absolutely.
Idam,
absolutely.
Idam, does if the landowner had an easement for ingress and egress, would that convey with the tax sale?
Yes, just like any other sale, the easement will travel will run with the land. In this case, it doesn't look like anybody left. Again, we didn't do a survey on these properties. We don't do that, but it doesn't appear that was reserved in this particular case. So I can't advise whether yes the purchaser will have a easement or not. Can't really speak to that.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Gonzalez to approve a resolution authorizing the resale of foreclosed real estate properties. Take it for a vote. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Proceeding right along to item I. Discussion of possible action for the board to consider approval of a mechanical engineering firm to design the plans and specifications, as well as provide construction administration services for the replacement of HVAC units for the A.N. Tony Rico Elementary, Collector Health Elementary, and the Administration Complex project. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, there are 32 HVAC units at Rico Elementary and Kleckler Held Elementary, 16 units at each school, and 9 HVAC units at the administration complex that need to be replaced due to age. The law requires the hiring of an engineer for the project. The installation of the HVAC units will be performed in-house by Weslaco ISD HVAC, electrical, and plumbing staff. Trinity MEP Engineering has done work for the district on past projects such as Weslaco High School and Weslaco East High School tennis courts lighting projects and many others. Our experience with Trinity MEP Engineering has been positive. Therefore, we're recommending that you approve to hire Trinity MEP Engineering to design the plans and specs, as well as provide construction administration services for the replacement of HVAC units for A.N. Tony Rico Elementary, Kleckler Held Elementary, and the administration complex.
Move to approve.
Second.
Was that a motion by Dr. Rivera?
Yes.
Okay, and a second by Mr. Lopez?
That's correct.
To approve Trinity MED Mechanical Engineering Firm to design the plans and specifications, as well as provide construction administrative services for the replacements of HVAC units at A.N. Tony Rico, Collector Health, and Administration Complex project. Any other discussion? Take it for a vote. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, item number 11. It is closed meeting to discuss the following. A, personal matters. Item 1, employment of personnel. Item 2, resignations. Item 3, deliberation regarding the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Item B, deliberation regarding acquisition of real property. And item 1, deliberation regarding possible acquisition of 0.689 acre tract of land out of the northwest corner of the East Acres of Farm Tract number 136, West Tract Subdivision, Westco, Hidalgo County, Texas. Item C, consultation with attorney regarding A, pending or contemplated litigation. B, settlement offer. C, matter in which the duty of the attorney to the Weslaco ISD under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. It is 7:53 and we will be going into executive session.
Hey, Bergen.
All right, it is 8:40 and reconvene an open meeting. Possible action if necessary on items discussed in closed meeting. Item 1, discussion, possible action on new employment. Dr. Canales.
The Board of Trustees recommend that you approve the new employment of new employees as discussed in closed session.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez and second by Mr. Lopez.
Yes.
Okay. To approve new employment, discuss in executive session. Any discussion? All in favor? I'll call your name out. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Ms. Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2, discussion of possible action on resignations. Dr. Canales?
Board of Trustees, we are recommending that you approve the resignations as discussed in closed session.
Move to approve.
A second.
We have a motion by Dr. Jaime and a second by Mr. Lopez to approve resignations as discussed in executive session. All in favor, please say aye. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
And Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3, discussion and possible action to acquire a 0.689 acre tract of land out of the northwest corner of the east farm tract number 136, West Tract Subdivision, Weslaco. Mr. Perez?
Yes, based on the deliberation in the closed session, as your counsel, I'm going to recommend that that there be a motion to purchase the 0.689 tract of land at the district's appraised value of $150,000, and that you authorize the board president to execute all closing documents necessary to effectuate the acquisition of the property.
Do I have a motion?
That's
I'll
a
make a
rec-
motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Gonzalez to approve 0.689 acre tract for $150,000 and grant authority to the board president to execute all closing documents necessary for the acquisition. All in favor, please say aye. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Dr. Rivera?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
And Coach Cuellar?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mr. Nieto.
Yes, sir.
I think it's very important that our people know, that our parents know that we are paying the appraised value and
correct,
nothing over that.
Good point, Mr. Lopez. Anything else, Mr. Perez?
No,
All
sir.
right. Dr. Canales?
No, we're good.
All right. Adjournment.
So moved.
It is 8:43 and we adjourn the meeting. Have a great day, gentlemen.
You too. Good night.
Bye.
Stay safe.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.
Everyone.
Thank you.